it's Kim. Thanks for tuning into today's video that's all about self-care. Now, when we say self-care, I know we normally think spa day, facials, getting your nails done. While I love all of those things and they are definitely included in my self-care routines, there are still some other components that are very important to keeping it together for me, and it being my life. So I want to share today what some of those self-care routines and habits are that I love to incorporate into my daily life, and also to discuss a little bit about how to set up these self-care routines for yourself, because it could be something that's a little difficult to kind of put your finger on. What exactly do I need to feel like my best self? So if any of that sounds good to you, keep watching. So let's cover some basics first. What even is self-care? I would define it as anything a person needs to feel confident, grounded, inspired, motivated. I don't always like to use the word motivated, but anything a person feels or anything a person needs to feel like their best self. And I'm well aware that that definition is quite broad, but just like we are all unique individuals and our needs vary, the same can be said for our self-care routines or self-care habits that we need to keep in place. And honestly, the self-care that I need today could be completely different from the self-care I'll need 3 months from now. We're all human, we change, we evolve, so it's understood that any type of self-care that you need could evolve and change as well. So sticking with a broad definition is probably the most effective. So let me go through some of my self-care routines for you. And I'm kind of putting them in order of how they occur throughout the day maybe, and sort of order of importance, but really it doesn't matter. So the first component of my self-care routines would be my Bible and prayer time. I am Christian, and that is something that I feel I need on a daily basis to feel like I'm keeping it together. It motivates me, it keeps me grounded, and it inspires me. So I do like to set aside some time to read the Bible, to pray. Sometimes I will include journaling in that component of self-care for me. And I will say that journaling is also a component of my self-care habit. I find that I actually like to write down my feelings. I don't necessarily write down like, oh, dear diary, you know, this is what happened today. That's not the type of journaling that I personally do, but I will write down things that I'm feeling. I'll write down things that maybe bother me. I'll write through my feelings, because that kind of helps me process them a little bit better. It helps me get it out of here onto a piece of paper, and most of the time I can just let it go, whatever it is that might be bothering me or concerning me. So that does cover the journaling portion of my self-care routines. Backtracking a little bit to get back to the Bible and prayer time, I admit that I don't always have the time, or let me rephrase that, I don't always prioritize making the time to do this every single day, but the days where I don't do it, I definitely notice it more. Maybe I'm a little off kilter in terms of moods. Maybe I'm snapping at the kids, you know, quicker than I usually would. But whenever I make it a point to include time with God in my day, and I do prefer to do it in the morning at the start of the day, but it can happen at any time. Sometimes I might do it in the afternoon, sometimes in the evenings before bed. But anytime I make it a point to include this time during my day, I feel a lot better. Another component of my self-care routines would be skincare. I have a video coming out soon that talks about my skincare routines. I'm not sure if it's going to be before this video or after this video, so please look out for that, and definitely subscribe if you want to make sure you catch that. But skincare is a great component for me. It is a time where I feel I am focusing most on myself. It's a time where I am pampering myself. So that is something that I always love to include every single day. There's not a day in my life where I skip skincare at all. There's not a day. There's always a morning routine. There's always an evening routine. And then there are weekly facials that I will give myself. And those are extremely important to my mental health. It's just time that I can sit down, relax, break away from the rest of the world, and just focus on me for a little bit. And it's a time that I really do enjoy. Another component of my self-care habits that I didn't realize was self-care for me until being home all this time, throughout most of 2020 into 2021, is that I really like slow morning. I've always known about myself that I hate to feel rushed in the morning. I hate to feel like I'm waking up at 7 a.m. and I have someplace to be at 7:30. Like, that will not happen. It will never happen in my life. I just cannot physically rush that much. Of course, like in college, you get up 10 minutes before class starts or anything like that. Of course, we've all done it. But in this life where I'm trying to focus on the things that I enjoy the most or the things that feed my soul the most, slow mornings are where it's at. I like to wake up early. I'll have my coffee. I'll, like I said, pray and maybe read the Bible. Sometimes I'll journal. 99% of the time, I'll flip through my planner to see what I have going on for the day. I'll wake the kids up. We'll chat a little bit, and I also don't believe in waking them up and rushing them in the morning either. It's just something I don't like, so I don't like to put it on them as well. They may evolve into not being morning people, in their lives. But while I'm here, I don't like to rush them in the morning. So I really love a slow, easy morning. I like to ease into my day. That for me is a form of self-care. Oh, and as I mentioned, in the morning I will flip through my planner. Planning is a part of self-care for me as well. It's something I really do enjoy. And I fully understand that it probably seems weird to a lot of people who are not into planners. It seems weird to people who are like, well, you can just have all of that information on your phone. True, but I don't like to do it that way. Planning is a form of self-care for me. I get to sit down, see what's going on in my life, plan out and plot out things, and it also makes me feel a lot more accomplished. If I have a long task list, it enables me to choose when I'm gonna fit certain tasks in on my schedule so that I never feel rushed, I never feel hurried, and I am more likely to complete all of the tasks that are on my list. That for me is another form of self-care. More recently, at the start of this new year, I've also been trying to read a lot more. I actually really do enjoy reading, but I find that I just wasn't making the time to read. And that's something that I like to do in the evenings. I don't do it every single night. I don't know if that's a goal of mine to read every single night, but I do like to do it often. It helps me unwind, it helps me relax, and I just like to read a good book. The things that I am usually into are mystery and thriller kind of books, and I have challenged myself this year to expand a little bit and to go into different genres, to open up different genres. Maybe some classics, maybe some fantasy type books. I don't know if I'm into that. Maybe no, I'm not really into romance, but I have challenged myself to explore other genres this year, and I did make a goal to read a certain number of books for the year. I actually also started a reading journal because I like to journal and I like to write things out. So if anyone is interested on seeing a video about my reading journal, I will gladly put it together. I don't know how many people are interested in that kind of thing. Just leave me a comment down below or hit me up on Instagram or wherever. And this next self-care habit kind of goes hand in hand with my slow mornings. It doesn't always happen in the morning though, but I really do enjoy quiet time. I don't know if it's because I'm mostly an introverted kind of person. I'm not sure exactly what it says about my personality, but I need time where things are just quiet. I just really need time where things are quiet. I love time spent by myself. I'm not one of those people who get anxious by being alone or anything. I absolutely love it. So I do enjoy having some quiet time in my day. And that quiet time could happen anytime throughout the day. It's a little weird. Even my friends think that I am odd because when I drive, I don't listen to the radio. When I'm home, working from home, I usually don't have on the TV. I just like quiet. I like to not hear sounds. So that is a part of my self-care. It keeps me balanced and grounded. I think when I hear a lot of talking and I hear a lot of music, and if I hear maybe like the radio playing over here, if there's the TV going over there, if there's something else that I can hear over here, that drives me bananas. I may be alone in this, but I like quiet and I like not a lot of sounds happening at the same time. Maybe it's weird, I don't know, but I have grown to understand that it's something that I really need for my own personal peace. I just need quiet time every now and again. Another self-care habit that I really want to get back into for 2021 is baths. I would usually take like an Epsom salt bath for the magnesium purposes. There are a lot of different reasons why Epsom salt baths are good for you. You should Google it, look it up, but I like it for the minerals that it provides to the body. It's also a really great relaxing time. I will say, when I started taking baths, and I would do it like once a week, weeknight, every week. When I first started, it was really hard for me to just sit there. I'm really not a just sit there kind of person. If I'm sitting, I am usually doing something. I'm writing, I am reading, I don't know, I'm usually doing something. So to sit in a bathtub, I had to actually force myself to do it, to not bring a book, and to just really zone out in that time and in that space. And I found that I did like it. I did enjoy it. It helped, again, to ground me. I feel like I keep using that term or throwing that in, but I guess that's a major reason of why I like to incorporate these self-care routines and habits into my life. It helps just keep me even keel and centered. Like I said, I've gotten away from that over the past several months, and that's something I want to get back into, to work it back into my weekly routine, because I do find that it was really good for me. And another thing, or another self-care habit that I find is good for me, which may sound silly to a lot of people, or maybe not silly, but it's not something you think of when you think of self-care, but I always like to have good snacks on hand. I'm a snacker. And I like good snacks. Sometimes maybe I won't always have a Pepsi and Doritos for dinner, but there are times in life where I just can't with the rest of the world, and Pepsi and Doritos is what I'm having for dinner. Big deal, big whoop. You know, it's what I'm gonna do. But I do like to have good snacks on hand just in case I need them, because they do make you feel good. And I realize that there are some association with moods and mental health and, I don't know, triggers for people to overeat or binge or things like that. And we always have to be sensitive about those topics and those issues. So that's why I say this is not something I do all the time. It's not something I'm going to do every single night. But from time to time, I like to have good snacks. They make me feel good and they make me relax and chill out. Let me know if you can relate. Down in the comments, I want to hear about it. Do you also like to have good snacks on hand from time to time? Some of them may be good for you. Some of them might be bad for you. It's okay. I feel like life balances it all out anyway. Let me know what you think. Okay, now that I've gone through all of these self-care routines and habits that I have set for myself, let's discuss how you can define and set up a self-care routine for yourself. I think there are 3 important questions to ask. The first would be, when do you feel your best? When do you feel the most like you? When do you feel you are performing your best? When do you feel your mood is the easiest and the most relaxed? Identify those times of the day or those times of the week, month, whatever, and really think about what makes you feel good in those moments. If you are a morning person and you feel extremely energized in the morning, that's an important note to consider. If you are the exact opposite and you feel really good and productive and energized in the evening, that's also important to consider. That lets you know when to utilize your energy in the most efficient way to keep you together. Another question to ask that goes right along with that is, what brings you the most joy? When do you feel really good? Or what outside triggers or outside occurrences, happenings, even people make you feel your best? What brings on the most joy for you? That could be when you spend time drawing. That could be when you spend time reading. That could be anything that you can think of that really, truly brings you joy. Another question to consider would be, what makes you feel most grounded and centered? And like I said, I know I've used that term quite a bit in this video so far, but I feel like that is a key component in identifying those things that we need for self-care. Like I said, it could be people. Maybe it could be spending time with your children. Maybe it could be even when you're working out. May sound crazy to some of us, but for, other people, that could be when you feel really good and really energized. So in thinking of those three components, you're able to identify the things that make you happiest, the things that make you most you. So start there in determining what those things are and what emotions you feel when you do them. And that would be a great first step in defining self-care routines and habits that you need to incorporate into your life on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. Now that I've gone over my self-care routines and habits, I want to know, what are some of your self-care routines? What things do you do to make you feel most like you, or the best you possible? What helps you focus and recenter yourself? And if you don't have anything, what could you maybe start today to try and do to create those self-care routines for yourself? Rounding mine up and putting them together for this video has actually been a little therapeutic for me, and I even journaled about it, and I made a spread that I have in my journal, and I'll actually share that on my Instagram. So go over there and check it out and let me know what you think. I've never really thought of all of these routines as a collective, you know, and how they help me perform better, but they really do all work hand in hand and are extremely crucial to my life. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I would really love it if you shared it with someone who you think this might help to establish self-care routines and habits in their lives. Also, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one.